Kyle joins us from the arena after a nice win for the Sixers in front of a sellout crowd on the night we had a chance to sit with some of our friends, of course, friends of the show. And Kyle, a nice bounce back tonight for this team as they pick up this win over, again, Cleveland Cavaliers for the second time in about 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, by the way, we had a first-time basketball game attender with us tonight who is now 1-0 all-time in basketball games attended. So shout out to Miranda for that. And shout out to all our people who came through for our takeover tonight. Had a nice time up in, what was that, 216, 217, whatever it was.
216A.
Even though they knew we were coming and they shut down the bar ahead of time, those bums. Yeah, very upset about that.
Just terrible stuff. I will say, this is at the forefront of my mind, so I have to tell you guys. We had one of the weirdest locker room moments of my time covering the team just now. So obviously, De'Anthony Melton's return was a pretty big deal. Hasn't played in quite a while, and prior to being hurt, was a regular starter for this team. He skipped out tonight before we were able to talk to him. It was just like, got out of there quickly, whatever. It's not really thinking about it. And we conducted a phone interview with De'Anthony Melton on speakerphone from the locker room with all of us standing around with our recorders. And it was taken over the top. And I'm so sad that I didn't get this on video. Tyrese Maxey figures out what's going on. He goes, he picks up the phone, and we got George Niang yelling from the hallway, by the way. I don't know if he wants to.
Tell him to stop by.
George, you can come in if you'd like to. So Tyrese Maxey.
We can get his perspective on the Ricky Trash talk.
George, how you doing,
Tell
man?
him to jump in front of you. What's up, man? Come on.
Come guys cheated.
Good to see you, George.
Oh, come on, man.
Where else do you get content like this? Anyway, now we're completely off the rails. So Tyrese actually grabbed, it was Sixers PR, Rob King. He takes Rob King's phone and he goes, "You are unbelievable, bro. You've been out for 7 months and you left before you could talk to the media." And he's just berating him over the top of speakerphone. So that was a funny moment. And I'll say we talked to De'Anthony. He said he felt good. Everybody commented on the fact that he looked bouncy, looked athletic, which was the big tell.
Yeah.
That I think he's closer to where we'd expect De'Anthony to be. And he told us on the phone that the big thing for him to get, the hurdle he had to clear, was when he gets hit or when he hits the floor, whatever happens, how does his body respond to that? How does he respond to that? And he said once he went down a couple of times, now it's basically just a mental thing. Got to be able to, put the pedal to the floor, go strong to the basket. Thought he had I've made fun of him a decent amount for his drives to the basket and how they end up, but earned a couple free throws by going strong to the rim tonight. So I think you already see, even if he's not at 100%, the difference that De'Anthony can make just adding him to the rotation.
Nice to see De'Anthony taking a page out of my book. Stay away for a while, come back, and leave
back at half speed, do half the work you normally do.
Oh, go ahead.
I guess just because fans are wanting, just give updates on Batum and Lowry because they were uncertain why they didn't play.
Well, so Lowry, we knew. That was
scheduled.
One that coming into the game, they basically said, like, he played a lot of minutes last night. This is a back-to-back, whatever. And Nurse had said pregame, which, Derek, you were at. Nurse said,
I just lean on you to be the correspondent, even if I'm there.
So Nurse had said pregame they would have liked to play him about 20 minutes or less last night against New York. And they pushed it because he was playing well. They went on a big run, all that. And having played him a bunch of minutes, scaled him back today and said, look, we play Sunday. And so that was known. Nurse told us after the game that he had to convince the staff, the medical staff, to even dress Batum just for basically emergency inbounding type situations. And he basically was like, I promise he won't touch the floor. He will stand on the sideline or out of bounds, throw the ball. And that's all he's going to do. And so that's all he did. And so they're obviously being very cautious with him. we didn't get any kind of idea of whether he will be fine for Sunday, but that's the basic gist of it that we heard from Nick Nurse.
According to Taryn, they offered Nico a water after he left the floor during his 3-second stint. Think he might be okay on that one.
That was some of the most important 3 seconds that he's ever
really
offered because they needed to get that ball in bounds, man. That could have. I had already tweeted like good bounce back from the Sixers, and I had like 25 people like, "You motherfucker! I can't believe you blew the game for the Sixers." So there's that.
Kyle's on the show for 10 minutes and he's already dropping an MFer.
Hey,
classic Kyle.
It's a Friday night.
Yeah. I guess what did you make out of the first half, specifically with Cam playing better, Mo playing, at least having a stint where he was playing better, and overall just out rebounding the Cavs, which I don't think any of us expected coming into this one.
No, and a lot of guys deserve credit for that, right? Like you already said, Mo, and we give him a lot of grief, but played at least a decent game. Certainly got a lot more minutes tonight than he did a night prior. Nurse said after the game, big point of emphasis, obviously, after that game, that they were going to attack the glass because they were, I don't want to say ashamed of their effort there the night before, but they were not happy with it after going over the film. And so you go over it and your coach chews you out a little bit. You all look at the tape and say, yeah, we left this money on the table. Came in with a renewed sense of focus and purpose tonight. That made a big difference. And to your point, yeah, Cam came into this game, huge spark as a scorer. Basically bought Tyrese the time that he needed because this was not a good Tyrese Maxey game for basically the first 3 quarters. And then he explodes in the fourth, carries them home, does what an all-star type guy is supposed to do. But this is the type of, team effort that it's going to require to win for the next, let's say month or so until Joel Embiid is back. Like even Tobias Harris drove me crazy for a lot of that game, right? But if you're talking about the rebounding component, there was a more concerted effort there from him he should be one of their better rebounders. He's a good athlete. He's big. He's strong. He's somebody who can make an impact there. And so for Tobias to have a poor offensive night but still make a difference there, that's the sort of stuff we're talking about, right? Like I'm not expecting to watch every game and Tobias gives you an efficient 20 to 25. That's not going to happen. But the requisite effort and attention to detail on the glass, that's got to be there from him. That's got to be there from Mo Bamba. That's got to be there from Paul Reed. And so to essentially neutralize one of Cleveland's big advantages in the size department and win the rebounding battle for a lot of the game, that's good stuff. That's good. What's going to allow you to beat good teams, to steal wins, and try to hold the fort until Joel Embiid gets back.
And doing that, you needed all those people specifically in the first half, certainly in the second half, but you also needed your all-star with his 15 points in the fourth quarter. Big three-pointer down the stretch, those 4 free throws that he made. What did you make of Maxey taking over? We've seen it before, but it just seemed like he didn't have it. 9 points at one point in the fourth quarter until he didn't, and he wound up with that 15 extra to have a game-high 24.
And look, Devon, that's part of, I'm sure you would agree with this, that's part of becoming and actually being a star, right? It's the expectation that you have a bad night or a bad few quarters, you are still going to be relied on. You are still going to need to take those shots and deliver down the stretch. And a lot of that is just the mental side of it, right? Like we see a lot of role players, you get in a hole early, you miss a few threes, all of a sudden you're second guessing yourself. Oh, I'm not doing this open shot, but I've already missed 1 or 2 earlier in the game. So I don't really want it. I'm passing it elsewhere. And so to see him still play decisively, that to me shows some of the maturation over the last few years, and definitely his ascent into a bigger role, right? Like when he was a rookie or second-year guy where he's got the bigger names ahead of him, he's still going to defer if he's got a tough start. Or frankly, rookie year, he's probably getting benched. Doc Rivers is going to say, yeah, you're 2 for 7 at halftime. We don't really need to see you. We'll go to Shake Milton or George Hill or somebody else in the second half. Furkan Korkmaz, whoever it is. And now the expectation is on him. Like, you have to rally. You have to battle. I don't care what type of game you've had up to this point. And so to me, that's very important to see that. Yes, obviously him succeeding is what gets you the win, right? Like they don't get the win without him. I just think it's important to see the consistency in the approach, the aggression. Like, he loves to say when he has a bad game, he's like, I just wasn't aggressive. And that can be a little bit dismissive, but that's a big component of being one of the best guys right now. The best guy on the team is understanding, like, it doesn't matter how you feel right now. It doesn't matter if you're 1 for 10, you're 2 for 13. You have to come through for this team. And so I have big credit to him for rallying after that tough start.
We all silly like the mayor.